Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
Joshua Shrum. He is a very talented steward, very knowledgeable.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. This is one of those podcasts where I listen to every episode. I love what he's putting out there.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. Josh Shrum.
Parcels of knowledge. Does a fantastic job with that podcast.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God. We need Article 8 scholars right now.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.
Good morning, and welcome back to Parcels of Knowledge, the podcast dedicated to delivering knowledge to the city letter carrier with your host, the Roseville Wrecking Ball. Today we got a special guest. He's a surprise guest, and he's here for a particular reason. Would you be able to introduce yourself and let us know why?
Yep. Aloha, everyone. My name is Christopher Reed. I'm a Table 2 letter carrier out of Branch 5516, Kailua Kona, Hawaii, and I am running for Region 1 National Business Agent.
All right. So first things first, we're going to have to get this question out of the way. Why are you running for Region 1 NBA when last time we spoke, you had said that you're not going to run against this particular individual?
Yeah, kind of got to get that out the way. I made that promise. That is a promise I will never make again, and not because of him in particular, but democratically, if I'm a member in good standing and I want to run, I should be able to run. But more importantly, my promise to him was as good as his commitment to the membership is. And I'm going to talk about some things that I've noticed. To put it in perspective, today, we're recording this on Wednesday, July 29th. Today marks his 100th day in office. Since he's been appointed, he was appointed on April 20th of this year. And so I've been in the office since about May 11th. With exception of a 2-week vacation that I had planned, I have primarily been on TAs in the business agent's office in Ontario, or have been sent out on behalf of them to various offices as an outside steward or even in arbitration. And so, once again, that promise to him, that promise to this one person in our region, is only as good as his commitment is to the membership. And so, one of the things right off the bat that, gave me some concern is we have a new field director of labor relations for the Western Pacific area, otherwise known as Westpac. His name is Manoj Menon. Westpac doesn't just cover Region 1. I believe it covers Region 2, a portion of Region 4, and even, I believe, New Mexico, which is Region 10. And so when in our collective bargaining agreement, we have the DRT memo or the DRP memo, and if there's an issue to where the parties can't agree on how to address it or what have you, it gets escalated to the national business agent, and this new to the national business agent and the field director, or otherwise known as a DIFLer. So this DIFLer, he's new. His name is Manoj Menon. The current MBA reaches out to Manoj and says, hey, we need to schedule a meeting to discuss some of these issues with the DRT process. Manoj's response was, well, I'm a little too busy with you. I'm dealing with Sean Boyd right now, so why don't you meet with my assistant? And our national business agent agreed to that. I have a huge issue with that because, one, that's not what the memo states. It's supposed to be the business agent and the DIFLer, not the assistant, not someone working under him. It's supposed to be the DIFLer. And so right away, that gave me cause for concern, because if it were me, I would not have agreed. I would have pointed out what is in the DRP memo and pressed them that we have to address these issues, whether that requires me to go to Colorado where the Westpac office is, to travel there. Secondly, another issue that gave me cause for concern, and the business agent and I spoke about it. However, I still disagree with that premise. It was regarding an employee that I have represented as an outside steward previously on a few occasions, and this individual was put up for two NORs a while back. I represented this individual in that in both of them, and was able get one of them rescinded and expunged at informal step A, and another one, the DRT, rescinded and expunged it. And so, but this individual has an issue with their president, their branch president, and some of that is a reason as to why I was sent in as an outside steward, um, with certain conflicts of interest that I will not go into. And so when this individual came back to work, was returned to duty, they tried messing with this person again and changed their start time greatly. Just this one individual start time was changed. This person hit me up, said, I need an outside steward. I said, you need to contact the business agent's office so that they can appoint someone if it's me. Of course, I'd love to represent you. And so when I get to the business agent's office around May 11th, I get pulled inside, and the business agent states, that that person requested an outside steward. I said, okay, so what are we doing? Well, I talked to the branch president, and the branch president is going to assign someone from their branch. And so I said, I took an issue with that because I was like, oh, so you're going to let the branch president, where there is a known conflict of interest, it is not a private thing,
Yeah, it's
but
crazy.
it's a very known conflict of interest between this carrier, this member of ours, and the branch president. And yet you're going to let the person who has a conflict of interest assign the representative. Um, that is an issue I had with that. And this kind of goes back to when I represented this individual as an outside steward in the two removal cases. A couple months prior, they conducted the PDI with this member, and this person had requested an outside steward, and then come to find out later, they actually specifically requested me. And I've never met this member before, but my understanding was uh, it said something along the lines of Chris is an honest person and won't misrepresent me or something to that effect. Anyways, so I get a call from the business agent. I was in on the other side of the island as an outside steward assisting a branch. They had got a new slate of officers and very new to the grievance procedure, so I was helping them out. And I get a phone call. Hey, can you? This individual requested a steward. Can you be on Oahu tomorrow? I said, yeah. Just get my TA sorted. Um, yeah, then I'll book the flight. And then he says, well, um, I need to talk to the branch president. So, well, why would you do that if you know there's a conflict of interest? This was known prior to, this has been known for a little while. And he said it was the right thing to do. I said, I don't believe that because if they're saying they don't trust the branch. And so I bet him $100. I said, $100, this person is not going to want to use me. And he goes, well, why? I was like, this president's like trying to get this individual fired. In fact, when I had a 16-6 case for this employee in front of me, and I was attempting a pre-arbor, I got a phone call from this branch president saying, I hope you do the right thing. I said, yeah, it looks like they don't have reasonable cause. So it should be make whole and return to work. And this individual followed up with, I hope this member gets fired. And I was like, well, that's not what a 16-6 is for. But anyway, so um, the business agent says, well, I'm going to talk to him, and or yeah, I'm going to talk to him, and I'll give you a call back. calls back 5 minutes later. He says, "Oh, you're right." I said, "I knew I was right. That's why I bet you money on this." Um, I said, "Who did this individual want as a grievance handler?" And he said this name, and it was funny because this branch president and I and another individual that holds a national officer position had dinner just a week prior to this phone call to potentially represent this member. And we were talking about the grievances in the state, and the individual who this branch president recommended, his name was brought up at this dinner. And that branch president said that individual is the most useless grievance handler in the state. Yet that's who you submitted to the business agent as someone that should represent this individual. So it's just tying it in to where there's a known conflict of interest, and so that gave me more cause for concern. Um, I think I think there's missed opportunities in the first 100 days to capitalize on trainings. We haven't done any training in the region since the rap session. And I've preached on about it that I believe it should be done every 4 months. I said 3 to 4 months. 4 months will give you 17 weeks to do training throughout the region. Not and even beyond that, there are cases out of certain areas, such as JSOVs, where they're coming up to arbitration, and we're not, unfortunately, once again, this goes back into training, we're not meeting our burden of proof, our requisite burden of proof. And so, you know, when I've seen these cases, I've sent emails out suggesting that training be provided, and it's fallen on deaf ears. Start time cases. I've made mention that we should be sending out memos from the region on how to attack start time cases. Majority of the branches generally attack the 80% rule found in Section 122 of the M39. However, the start time changes affects wages, hours, and working conditions, and so that falls into Article 5. Before we even discuss the 80%, did they negotiate with the union, with the branch president? There's a case I did, that Corey talked about a few months ago in front of arbitrator Boslin out of San Diego. And Boslin's entire decision, the arbitrator's entire decision, was on the unilateral action and the violation of the National Labor Relations Act. But yet, we're not sending that out to the region so that we can better prepare our grievance handlers on how to attack these things. Oftentimes, when I'm talking to branches throughout the region and they bring up start time, how to attack it, the 80%, what reports, I say, well, let me ask you first, did management negotiate with the union? Oh, no. Well, and then I will go on to explain the requirement to negotiate with the union under Article 5, National Labor Relations Act. So these are missed opportunities that I've brought up. In addition, you know, um, he is missing work quite often, about 2 days a week. That equates to 40%. 40% of the week as this individual is not at work. Now, I'm not going to go into the reasons why or any of that, but if you are going to run a region of 40,000 active and retired letter carriers, and you're knowingly going to miss 40% of the work week, there might be an issue. And I'm not dogging him on that or anything, but it's the fact of the matter that if you know that you can't be readily available to the membership, maybe you should not be the business agent.
A lot of
Um,
carriers would care about attendance for sure.
Yeah, I know it's a hot topic. You see it on social media, and discussing other regions and things like that. And so, once again, though, that's why I believe my promise was only as good as his commitment to the membership was. Um, but he is a great individual administratively. He does a lot of the work in the office administratively. However, he does not like to travel. And I believe the region needs a face to rely upon when things escalate. When there's hot topic issues, such as in California right now, we have a place there's a hot button issue where a full-time officer has been barred from a building, from a post office, and they're not allowing this individual to step foot in this post office. It may have been resolved now, through my understanding, a potential EEO process, or labor charges, but when it was escalated to the business agent's office, instead of sending himself there to address it, um, nothing really happened. And so it's not a good this and this may be a negative as a business agent, but it's not negative to him as a RAA. Administratively, he is great. But because he doesn't like to travel, that creates an issue within the region. We're the biggest region geographically. Um, we got California, Hawaii, Nevada, and Guam.
Would you say there was any change at all since he's taken office, or does it feel the same as before?
It feels the same as before when there was not a business agent, and yeah, when there was, yeah, essentially when we didn't have a business agent after Keisha was installed in September, it feels like everything's the same.
Can hardly
Uh,
tell the difference.
yeah, and so, but once again, though, I think he's a great unionist. I just don't think he's qualified to be a national business agent. That requires travel. That requires when there's hot button issues to be a presence for the branches that are requesting it or hoping that the business agent's office will help out. Um, so and this might be me being naive to the politics within the NALC or politics in general. I am the branch president in Kona. However, we are a very small branch, so there's not much politics to it. Um, but the way I view our NALC politics is like we're a sports team. We have the NALC team, and across from us is management for the Postal Service. And so, if I want to exercise my democratic right, as long as I'm a member in good standing, challenge for the first string position or the team captaincy role, I should be able to do so. And if I lose, and I'm dropped down to second string, third string, JV, what have you, I'm still there on the team, pushing the first string person right in front of me, um, to get them better prepared, get them ready, that ultimately help out the membership, which is the NALC. Um, and so maybe I'm naive because that's how I view it, and that it might be because I played competitive sports well into my 30s, but I don't think, and vice versa. And he and I had discussed this. I had informed him Monday that I plan on running against him, um, and I discussed this exact scenario. And I said, if the roles were reversed as well, and I won, I hope you would be there right behind me, helping the team because I believe competition drives performance. I believe competition, iron sharpens iron is a phrase often used. I believe competition creates greater results, and it doesn't create complacency where we're just sitting behind a screen all day. So I
Yeah.
love the man, but yeah, I am running for the members. Like I said in the last time I was here, membership first.
All right, that's pretty exciting. It's certainly wonderful to see that you're back in the race because I was pretty hopeful for when you. I'm not saying I'm not in Region One, so I can't vote obviously, but I thought it was pretty cool you were running, and I think it sounds nice to see that there's competition again instead of just one. Whoever's going to be the best, I imagine, is going to win. Yeah. So
Exactly, and it's no hard feelings. I told him when I had this conversation, I said I don't view it as and then once again, it goes back to me being naive with how I view it as a sports team. I don't view this as ruining anything. I said I can't tell him how he feels or how to feel, but for me, if I win, I hope he's with me as an RAA. Um, I hope he's with me as an RAA, continually help the membership, and if I lose, I'm going to be right behind him to
now,
help out the membership.
are you running under any particular slate or is it independently?
I'm running independent. I will say there have been conversations with the ticket, but I'm running independently. Not sure if that'll change. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But right now, on July 29th, it's independent. But what I'm running on, though, is education, communication, and enforcement. And so, once again, going back to education, I view the region California, Hawaii, Nevada, and Guam essentially split up into five sub areas. You have Hawaii, which Guam would be inclusive of. You have Nevada, and then you have Northern, Southern, and Central California. And so I want to do training in each of those sub areas every 4 months. Now, if you look at it, 4 months gives you about a little over 17 weeks to get that done. And so maybe every other week or something, there's a training in one of the areas. And utilize the RAAs, myself, any trainers. I know the State Association for California has a director of education, and utilize the resources we have, whether it's from the Leadership Academy pool of the graduates, whoever wants to train and can competently train, we will look at them, evaluate them, and look to utilize them because we cannot have enough trainers. And then if there's branches, to kind of reel it back, and then within those sub areas, I want to rotate it. We'll use Northern California as an example. Maybe San Francisco the first time around, Sacramento the next time around, Ukiah or Eureka, or I believe Eureka or San Jose. Rotate it so that even the smaller branches are able to participate because we do see smaller branches, such as myself, hurting without training. Um, we had to raise our dues so we can send people to trainings throughout the region or to the conventions or the rap sessions. So making the union accessible to every branch and every member. Um, and then if there are branches that need more specialized training, because there's a hot topic issue, we'll send a team in. We'll send trainers in. And then communication. I want to have monthly meetings like I did previously discussed, monthly meetings with the branch presidents. And I want to be transparent with the with what goes on during the executive council meetings. Maybe not getting into the in detail, in depth stuff, but I want the region to know what is going on nationally, regionally, and kind of go from there. But I want transparency is a huge thing for me. And then enforcement, contract enforcement. And that goes back into training, right? And communication. I want the communication to know how to attack things so that we can provide training as well. But also, if we have great stewards, which we do, I'm not knocking any stewards or Formula A designees, but if we continue to train them, iron sharpens iron, these cases will be unbeatable in the event it goes to arbitration, or it's so good, solid for us that we're actually getting DRT resolves on it. We have awesome members in our DRT. However, management just doesn't want to settle them, and so yeah, that's what I'm running on, as we previously talked about, and you know, that's what I'm gonna promise the membership is you're gonna have an open line of communication to me. I'll be a face in the region. I'll be present. I won't be behind a computer screen, and we will have training, transparency, communication, and strong contract enforcement.
Now, will you be personally invested in developing that training as it pertains to the applicability to arbitration? Because as I understand, you are an arbitration advocate, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I actually just did a case about last Tuesday. Um, I thought it went well. My two TAs thought it went well. One was a TA, one was an observer. Both thought it went well. We'll see what the arbitrator thinks ultimately. But yes, it will be geared towards. I believe every case file should be prepared as if we were going to arbitration because 15.2 formal step A talks about fully developing the file on our and fully developing it on everything you relied upon, contractual provisions and sorts. So yes,
Yeah.
they need to be prepared if they're going to arbitration. I gave a discipline. I've given a couple of discipline trainings recently in the region. One was in Reno. on assignment, and then one was in Las Vegas on my own dime. And you know, Reno, I guess, had a lot of great things to say about it. They've spoken to other branches in the region and said it was some of the best training they've had. So I want that, not saying I'm the greatest trainer. We have great trainers in the region, and I want us all to come together and develop these trainings so that we are educating our members and our stewards.
It's funny you mentioned that 15.2 because even though 15.2 says that the cases need to be developed at Formal A, every single time I get a decision, whether it's mostly it's impasses, every time I get an impasse, my management step B writes 2 or 3 pages about how they're allowed to add into the case file at step B, and that they're the ones who end up finally developing the case file fully. It's crazy. Is that something you'll be looking at? Is your step B? I'm sure you guys have great step Bs out there, but is that something you're also as an MBA? Would you be geared toward developing your step B to be the best that they
Yeah,
can
and
be?
yes, we will hold Step B trainings. I believe Step B trainings have been held previously. And but yeah, we will get together, get the DRTs together to provide Step B training. Let me say this though, the Step B team does a great job of um, countering their arguments when it comes to this new evidence BS that they get to add to it. And it's in the DRT memo in the JCAM, it says the DRT is not responsible for building the case file.
Yeah,
So, we're gonna address it all. Um,
I almost started putting
and
it
the,
in my case file because it happens every time.
they're gonna do what they're gonna do because ultimately, manage they're not being held accountable right now anywhere. The RA that oversees the Step E team in our region is doing great on it, but overall management just nationwide just puts whatever they want in the
Yeah,
DRT decisions. I sent the case file up on attendance-based discipline. They failed to meet, so I didn't put anything in the file other than the 8190, um, the charge letter, and then my contentions that management couldn't meet just cause, and somehow the DRT decision cited 3971s, 3972s, the ERMS calling log. I was like, shit, that wasn't even a damn file.
that's crazy. I don't understand how they can do that.
I don't know either, but you know, I talked about Alan's first 100 days, and I want to talk about my first 100 days if I'm in office. I want to establish those monthly meetings with the branch presidents right off the get-go. Um, and so that's about first 100 days, that's about 3 months. So I'd like to have at least 3 meetings with the branch presidents. I want to meet with the Diffler in person. As of right now, it's Minaj Manan. I want to meet with him in person and establish how we're going to address these issues, whether it's the DRT, arbitration issues, because there's a bunch of BS games being played in arbitration right now, and they're just running amok of it. In fact, there was a hearing which I was a TA for management, and it was a remedy hearing. We're going back in front of the arbitrator because the arbitrator retained jurisdiction for a period of 60 days to enforce compliance, and they didn't comply with his original award. We go in front of the arbitrator. I wasn't the advocate, I was a TA. And the service raises 3 arbitrability issues, um, functus officio, and that claiming that to go back in front of an arbitrator on a remedy hearing only, that we had to actually meet at informal A, formal A, and it was crazy. And so they, they present their arbitrability arguments. The arbitrator bifurcates the case, so he wants to rule on the arbitrability issue first, and then in the service's closing brief, they withdraw all their arbitrability arguments. So we went to a hearing on arbitrability, and then in their closing brief, they withdrew the entirety issue. They withdrew all their issues. So it was a wasted date. The arbitrator got free money. Congrats to him, I guess. But the arbitrator, there was it was nonsensical what took place. It was crazy. And then any hot topics on the workroom floor that need to be dealt with the diffler myself, with the business agent. Whether that's heat illness, whether that's safety, to discuss issues that is affecting the region as a whole, or even more localized. I want to develop and begin the implementation. I want to develop and begin the implementation plan for the region with the training. At that point, we should have a few trainings throughout the areas at that those sub areas. So I want to start that, and then I want to send teams into places where management is currently running amok and branches are currently asking for help and not getting it. There's a branch in up north that has been requesting assistance for a station, and it's fallen on deaf ears. I was sent there for a couple days, but we're talking about over 100 backlog of cases because management is just violating left and right. And I'll give that example. Every day there is grievances concerning unauthorized use of overtime. So this place in this northern area, management's position is if you're a medical aid carrier and you fill out a 3996 because there's more than you need more time, and they give it to a CCA to do it, they put them on unauthorized overtime. They put the medical aid carrier who doesn't work in the overtime as the
That
unauthorized
is
OT.
ridiculous. I never heard of
And
anything
then
so stupid.
I didn't hear anything either. And then there's a DRT decision that basically says cut that shit out. And they say, well, we disagree with the DRT decision, and we're going to start creating a 1017C. They're going to create their own local own form. So
Man,
that, yeah, I want to address the places that need teams to go in. We'll send teams. We'll send individuals that are equipped to handle that workload and assist the branches wherever they need be. And then my first 6 months, I want to have the educational plan in full effect. At that point in time, we should have 2 rounds, or we should have 1 round completed and midway through the second round. I want to establish consistent communication with the branch presidents and their membership. I want to hear from the members as well, whether that's attending a branch meeting, um, or what have you, setting up a Zoom meeting once every quarter for them. These are things I want to explore because I want to hear from the branch presidents who are ultimately the members' duly elected representatives, but I want to hear from the members too. And then I want to plan a rap session and hopefully have a rap session within the first 6 months. You know, I don't think with exception to the last election in 2022, um, I don't think there's really been elections for the business agents position in Region One. And I want to bring us together, have a rap session, host a training there, and discuss what's going on in the region and how we're going to proceed moving forward. And then I would like to develop an organizing team throughout the region. Do I have an idea of how that looks like right now? No. But I want to find a way to get our membership more organized, the letter carriers more organized. I want to increase the organization of the region, um, so that they can benefit from the full effects of being a member in good standing. Able to utilize a regional workers' comp with any OWCP issues. You know.
yeah, it makes sense. Now, if any folks were to support you, where would they go? Do you have any sort of media?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. It's if you look up Chris Reed for Region 1 MBA, it will pop up there. I have an Instagram page. It's the handle is Read for MBA, and I'm hoping to have the website up by tomorrow. I'm doing this all myself, so and I have to actually go to a branch meeting here, and that yeah, we have our branch meeting tonight in about an hour and a half, so I have to head there here shortly. But I should have the website up. It will be readformba.com. I've already secured the domain and all that. And then I'll have a link tree, which is not necessarily social media, but it has all the relevant, you can put all your links in there for where to go. And if, I am obviously, since I've gone back on the promise, I am open for donations. You can, my Venmo is my personal Instagram handle, which is at Chris JM Reed, which is the at handle or the at character, CHRISJMREED. M as in Michael, Reed, Reed. I take Venmo, and I'll probably have a GoFundMe up. And then if you want to Zelle, my phone number is 808-756-1861. I know it's dangerous giving out my number on a podcast. However, if the region does want to contact me, most of them have that number anyways. I don't have a work cell phone, so feel free to donate in any of those ways. But I just want to close with this. Look, I'm running once again for the membership. It's a membership first platform. Nothing else matters when you run for these positions but the members and their best interests. And like I said previously, to fighting for what's right is an innate ability. And I'm a fighter. Corey said it multiple times on his podcast that I'm a fighter. You've heard it on various podcasts that I'm a fighter. And that's what I'm promising to the membership, that I'll fight for you and with you. And it doesn't matter if you're the loud few or the silent majority. I'll be here for you. And that's how I end it is, yeah, fighting is an innate ability. Complacency is something you can do behind the screen.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty exciting. I think a lot of that is true from what I know about you myself. But hopefully we can see you in LA as well.
I'll be in LA. Do I have any events planned right now? No, I'm working on it. It will probably just be something at a nearby bar and grill type situation. No charge, but I'm looking to get some raffles and all that. Once again, I just informed our business agent that on Monday that I'll run. So we are putting this together. However, you can find me. Everyone can find me on the convention floor. Come talk to me. Let's chit chat. Even if it's not about the elections, let's just have a conversation because ultimately, I'm not here to have any issues at the convention. I'm here to have a good time, and that good time is representing the members. While at the convention, I'll be representing my members from Branch 5516.
Well, it was good having you on, and hopefully you have a good meeting after this.
I'm hoping so too. They have been a little aware that I'm potentially running. We discussed it back in April and March, and then discussed it in the last meeting that I'm kind of considering. So yeah, our meetings are always good. We do it at a member's house overlooking the Kona coast, and we either cook or bring a lot of food. I like to barbecue for them. So yeah, nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
No, I appreciate you having me on, and to all the members in Region 1 that are going to the convention, come see me. And for all the members that are not going to the convention, you have my social medias now. Reach out to me. My email is read4mba@gmail.com. That's the email I'll be using for this campaign. So hit me up and let's have a chat.
All right. Sounds good.
Also, I have reached out to Keisha Lewis. I understand that Branch 1100 is doing a candidate forum for the presidential candidates and the EVP candidates. So I have reached out to Keisha Lewis about having the regional candidates for business agents on, and I'll be there Tuesday, and nice. Hopefully we can have an open forum, and hopefully we can have a debate about what's the best for the membership.
All right. Sounds good to me, man.
All right. It's good.
If these guys are getting educated, we will be in big trouble.
Management's been weighing you down like a bag of wet catalogs, but you don't gotta take it. You strap on the elbow of education, dig it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God, we need Article 8 scholars right now. The Grievous Genius and the Roseville Wrecking Ball doing amazing work.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.